Good morning. It's Friday, September 23rd, and 2 days ago, President Trump got nailed with a double whammy. An appeals court in the 11th District ruled against him with respect to the Justice Department wanting to keep certain documents and keep their investigation going. Now, that was counter to what Judge Aileen Cannon said. And these three judges on the appeals panel, two of them were appointed by Trump himself. So you see, even though Trump appointed many people, there are still many people that will do the right thing. And on top of that, the second part of the double whammy is Letitia James filed a civil lawsuit against Trump, three of his children, and the Trump Organization, alleging that they were involved in an extensive fraud lasting over a decade. It involved Trump himself. And this was not a penny ante fraud. This fraud involved enriching Trump by a lot. And then we have Vladimir Putin. And then we have consecutive days prices on the pump went up by a penny. So an average now across the country is at $3.68 a gallon. Now that's according to the AAA. Now I don't think a 1 cent increase is a big deal, and I don't think that's going to have a big effect on many drivers. But if gas prices start to rise again, that would make it very difficult for the Biden administration and the Federal Reserve to keep inflation in check. Now the last time the national average price for gas rose was on June 14th. That seems like an eternity ago, when it hit 502. So up till now, gas prices have been plunging because of a series of factors, including stronger supply and weaker demand because the drivers balked at paying those high prices and drove only when they had to. And then, of course, there was the unprecedented release of emergency oil reserves by the White House. And all of those kept the price of gas down and kept people on the road. In fact, we looked at it brightly, I think. I think people looked at it brightly that gas was going down to a reasonable price. If you consider $3.19 reasonable, that's what I saw the last time I went and looked and drove by the gas station. When I see the price of gas, it's not because I went to fill my tank up. It's because I drove by the local gas station. And it was $3.19. So I'm hoping that that blip in the gas price now is not going to affect us all again. If it's not going to, I hope it's not going to start rising again and driving people insane. Because if you're spending $3 a gallon and you've got 10 gallons, that's fine. So you spent $30. But if it's $5 a gallon and you're spending $50 to go to work, it's almost like not worthwhile to go to work. So I'm glad to see that gas prices came down, and I hope that they stay that way, because many need low gas prices in order to have a decent living. When gas was high, it was eating up the excess income. How many people had to skip going to a Broadway show or something, or going to a ball game because of the price of gas? Expensive to get there, expensive to keep on living at a certain level. So if you got to tuck in your stomach and hang on to your money, that's a good thing. I view that as a good thing for the future, that you got a savings. But if your savings is getting sucked into gasoline tanks, that's not good. Not good for anybody. So hopefully, this is just a blip. Hopefully it's stabilized. Hopefully the gas will continue at this relatively inexpensive level. And then we have Vladimir Putin announcing that he needs 300,000 more soldiers. And you know what happened because of that? There's a crash, a rush to get an airplane ticket and get out of Russia. That's right. There was a huge demand for flights out of Russia right after Putin made that announcement. And there was a huge amount of traffic on Google and other search sites to find information on how to get out of Russia. And Putin, meanwhile, cracked down on demonstrators who were protesting against his activities in Ukraine. Now, I didn't think that they allowed any protests in Russia about Ukraine, but I guess I'm wrong. I guess there are people in Russia who recognize the evil things that Putin is doing. But meanwhile, right now, the people want to get out of the country as fast as they can. You think anybody wants to serve in the Russian army right now? I doubt it. I'm sure all of you know that he let people out of prison if they went to serve in the army, and said they would be released once their service duty was ended. So the prisoners at least were willing to fight in the army, but they were going to get freedom. Maybe, if they can trust Putin. And then where the hell would they go if you're a convicted Russian criminal and you served in the army and you killed Ukrainians? Who would want you? And do you want to go back to Russia? I don't know. That's a tough situation. So in addition to taking prisoners out of jail, they have threatened that anybody who was asked to volunteer for the service and refuses, they will go to jail for 15 years. So it might very well be that he releases prisoners, but he replaces them with people who refuse to fight for him. Wouldn't that be a beautiful thing? Isn't that something to be remembered for when your time comes? And the foreign ministers and senior officials from Europe, North America, and South Korea issued a joint statement today expressing grave concern regarding the ongoing shelling around the nuclear facilities. Yes, the rest of the world is scared shitless, because if anything happens to that nuclear facility, there will be hundreds of thousands of people who probably died, and many more who will have the lingering infections, the lingering effects of radiation poisoning. So who knows what this lunatic from Russia is going to do next? The whole world is watching, and maybe that's all he wants. Maybe he wants everybody to see what a tough guy he is. And many others look at him as the schmuck that he really is. So I'll leave you with those couple of items today, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the morning. Bye.